Hello and welcome back to Two-Headed Goat. This is all special episode just for you, Mrs. Smith.
Yep.
Cade.
Special episode. Zach's got something to talk about.
Cade's pretty tired, I think.
No, I'm alright. Zach's just draining to be around.
He called me a narcissist earlier, like right before we started this, and said that things aren't going to work out with me and Clara.
Yep. We got something to talk about, Zach?
Yeah, okay, so we're going to talk about our books for our group study. Cade, what book did you read?
For my group study, I read Stoner by John Williams.
Let me put this away.
What book did you read, Zach?
I read the book An Actor Prepares by Konstantin Stanislavski.
It's awesome.
Cade, should I go first or do you want to go first?
I mean, I think we can both take turns talking about our books.
Okay.
But yeah, you can kick us off.
Well, first, I would like to point out that I did switch books a couple times.
That's why this book isn't finished. You
Okay.
never read the complete book.
Well, I'm not done with it, but it's not like a narrative. So like you don't necessarily have to read the whole thing. It's more of an educational
I
piece of
think the
fiction.
assignment was calling for us to read the whole book, but that was just my interpretation of it.
Actually, the assignment was to complete a goal that we set out, and I did complete my goal to read 100 pages at one time.
Your goal was to jump between 3 books, put 3 down, because
Should I read
you
you
can't
my
really
goal?
get
I'll read you my goal,
interested in
Cade.
'em
Cade, I'll read you my goal.
because you have such a dopamine addiction. It's just I need this. You can't wait for anything.
I'd prefer to read about something that I'm passionate about, like acting. I'll be sure to mention it when I win my first Oscar, Cade. Be sure to mention An Actor Prepares in SDL class, but I won't be mentioning you, Cade.
I'll ever want to be mentioned by you.
By the end of this quarter, I will learn to read for more than 1 hour at a time by progressively reading my book.
That is one of the worst goals I've ever heard.
Well, nonetheless.
You can't read for an hour at a time.
Kid, I did for this. I reached my goal. Before I couldn't, now I can.
Oh.
An hour's a long time.
That's a really good strides. Bump on that, bro.
No, I'm not going to bump you. You're being mean to me. I completed my goal.
How long do you think you could sit still for in a dark room?
I would fall asleep.
Over under 30 seconds. Without grabbing needlessly for a phone in the dark.
Okay, Cade, what was your goal?
I cannot tell you off the top of my head, but I wasn't concerned about the time I was reading. I think I'm happy with the time I was reading. But my goal is probably just to read a book.
Your goal was probably, he doesn't even know his goal. And this podcast episode is about to be how we completed our goals, and you don't even know your goal.
I think the podcast episode is just going to be about our book. I'm saying my goal was to analyze literature through reading.
Okay.
And my literature was
a
book, and I was able to read a whole book. And I was able to read a book before that, too, because I actually enjoy reading, Zach, and I'm not
I enjoy reading as well.
slopster.
Just mean.
Okay, so what parts of your book did you read? What
guy.
happened? I'm also very busy, Zach, but you know what?
Okay, so basically, this book, the way I went about finding this book is I looked up top 5 books all actors must read, and this was the top of every list. It said it was the foundation for any actor's education, and so I said, yes, I would like to read that because
What year
I
was
like
it written?
acting. Like 1936, 32, something like that. Early
country of
1900s.
origin?
Russia. This guy, Konstantin Stanislavski, was a Russian actor, and he wrote
Can we
a
get
book.
a fact check on
and
what
it
year it was written?
Yeah, we can. We sure as heck can. During the early 1930s. There's no distinct date, but it was published in 1936. Right when I said.
No, you said 1932.
I said 36 first. It's probably written in 32 and then published in 36. But basically the format, rather than like a traditional like textbook that is just like, here is this concept in acting, and here is how you do it, and blah 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 blah. It's like a narrative, and it tells the story of a class, from the first person perspective of a student. And so it starts with the student preparing to be in a Shakespeare play, I forget which play, for this class, and then like the instructor, it details like what the instructor says to them to try to get them to like act better and teach them these different concepts. And so you're learning like pretty complex acting concepts through like a more easy to understand narrative, because it's actually like a piece of fiction, but it's designed for education.
It's a piece of fiction, but this made it into a piece of cake.
You're out of frame.
It's all right.
As per usual. He's too
I'm
insecure
anonymous.
to be on camera.
That's what your mom told me.
He's always like, bro, I probably look like such a
Your
child.
mom's always never wants to be in frame, but it's all right.
What the
You're going to have to cut that.
Yeah, now I'm going to have to edit this. I wasn't planning on having to edit this. I was just going to submit it. No, I'm keeping that in there. Mrs. Smith can hear that.
Okay. So an actor prepared, Zach.
Yes.
So what were they preparing for? The Shakespeare play?
Yeah, but it's more about like the acting concepts within it.
What do you think was the most eye-opening acting concept?
Well, I think my favorite part actually it came on page 15. I was reading, and it says, basically the instructor is talking about how like the subconscious produces emotion, and an actor can't necessarily force that emotion out of themselves. But what they can do is use their body and the things that they've learned to let that emotion flow out of them. And the protagonist, there's not really like there are names, but they're all Russian, so like I didn't really pick up on their names. But the protagonist says, "Why is the subconscious so dependent on the conscious?" said I. And the instructor says, It seems entirely normal to me," was the reply. "The use of steam, electricity, wind, water, and other involuntary forces in nature is dependent on the intelligence of the engineer. Our subconscious power cannot function without its own engineer, our conscious technique. It is only when an actor feels that his inner and outer life on the stage is flowing naturally and normally in the circumstances that surround him that the deeper sources of his subconscious gently open, and from them come feelings we cannot always analyze. For a shorter or longer space of time, they take possession of us whenever some inner instinct bids them. Since we do not understand this governing power and cannot study it, we actors call it simply nature." I read that paragraph like 6 times when I first read this page, because it was just like especially the metaphor at the beginning, comparing our natural emotions to steam, electricity, wind, water, and other involuntary forces. That was very cool to me, because I've never really thought about that. Like, our emotions are natural to us, but representing them, like fabricating them, is not natural to us, and it's not really possible. And so the best we can do
You fabricate emotion a lot, though.
is try to produce those emotions using the tools at our disposal. So like the same way a wind turbine harnesses the wind to produce energy, when I'm on stage, I harness my lines, my blocking, my...
Or like when you're
whatever.
fabricating lies to like take advantage of other people, like you commonly do. So the book's teaching you how to manipulate people.
No, not really.
Okay, continue with the book. So that was an interesting passage. I'll give you that, from page 15 of what appears to be like a 250-page book. So
It's
were there any other
300.
cool little tidbits you liked?
Well, there is a lot, but why don't we flip to you first, and then I'll come back to myself.
Zach, I don't think you would be able to understand the scope of my book. But
I'm trying to have a productive conversation.
You can.
I just
No,
want to let the record show that.
Just close your eyes with me. Close your eyes.
They're closed.
when you think of the world 120 years ago, what do you think of the United States? What for me, I think of like almost there was a point in Ohio where there was almost 3% of the trees that were naturally there. Like everything was destroyed. Most like most of the land was made into farmland. I just can't imagine like a world like today where everything's just used as like industrial purposes, where like farm plots are just like so devoid of any life. It's all just like farming. You can imagine that, right? Where it's just like I just feel like whether we had no need for the environment around us because we put our needs first instead of like the natural aesthetics of the world. And when the book opened up, it's of his he's born into Missouri, and I think 1896 or something, and he's just born into farmers, and I just that's how I pictured the world. I pictured it like devoid of any life, devoid of like any like aesthetic pleasure. He just talks about tending to the fields for the first like 18 years of his life, and it almost seems like he's on autopilot during it. His family really never talks a lot. They're all very stoic. They've had this like tradition passed down from generation to generation. It seems like for him there's not like a lot to life except doing what you were taught basically in school. I think he only went up or his dad only went up to the 6th grade. He was able to complete school, but he never did his schoolwork with much like reverence. He never thought there was a lot to it. He just knew he had to help his parents with chores around the farm, and he just lived like a very bleak life that was just like dominated by day-to-day activity and never really finding meaning or purpose in it, but just doing it because you had to do that to survive and help your family. And that
When
all
does this take
changed
place?
1896 in a farm in Missouri. And it all changed when he was given the opportunity to go to college and learn about agricultural sciences as a lot of like the fields and like soil they're using was really depleted from like the past generations of use in the farms. So his family decided that he should go to college. His name was William Stoner, and the book starts with him going to college. And his parents, the longest, just to put it in perspective, the longest he ever talked to his parents were like 3 sentences, and it was his dad asking him if he ever wanted to go to college and pursue a degree.
Wait, that's like the longest conversation they ever had?
That's what he said in the book. The longest conversation they ever had was like 3 sentences, just back and forth.
What? That's insane.
I know, like it's just like the whole. It's just I try to just think of it like it's not even like a boring life, but it's just like a life dominated by just work all day, and just like there's no like outlet, there's nothing to look forward to. It's just work, and you just know one day that you're gonna have to take over the duties of your parents fully. But he took this avenue to go to college, and from there it kind of just changed his whole life. Like he decided that he was sent there to do agricultural science, but in his sophomore year, he's kind of just he says he drifts through school with the same like or not unconcerned. He tries in school and he gets good grades and stuff in school, but it's with the same reverence that he uses for like chores. It's kind of just like mindless. It's like his body's on autopilot. And that was up until his sophomore English class when he started to discover that like some of this stuff it wasn't just surface like knowledge. You had to like actually dig deep and find meaning in the stuff he was reading, and that changed his entire life. He just felt something that he knew would change the rest of life, and it ended up changing
His
his whole
sophomore
life.
year of college?
Yeah. And from there he decided that he was going to abandon getting an agricultural science degree, and didn't tell his parents. He talked to his teacher, and his teacher said that he had the same revelation when he was his age, and that he knew he was going to be a teacher or a professor eventually. And then during this time, it's 1914 too, so a lot of his classmates around him are going off and being drafted into World War One.
Was there a draft for World War One?
There was a draft for World War One, yeah. And yeah, I don't know. It's we can bounce back to your book, but that's like just what sets up the book.
How did what was I? Oh, I wonder how college worked back. Like, how did people pay for college?
I don't know.
'Cause there's
From
no way
what
his
he was
family
able to
had
work
money.
through school, or he was able to work because it really wasn't that expensive. Like
yeah, it
he was
probably
able to
wasn't
like
very expensive.
work during college. He was set up with his uncle and aunt, so he didn't have to pay for like housing because he just stayed with his uncle and aunt. But in the summertime, he would work with his parents, like tending to the farm again while he's off of school, and that was able to pay for his college.
Interesting.
And eventually, he ends up getting his PhD. And
Is it a fictional book or is it
it
like?
is fictional, but it's all like really based in reality. It's all just about that guy William Stoner, and
Was that a real guy or?
I don't think it was, no. But after that, yeah, he decides like he really just like devote like he just thinks of like he just wants to put everything he can, like not even just learning, but like just the premise of like having the hope of just there's more and more stuff I can always read. There's always gonna be more I can learn, more I can like dive into, more I can understand. That like drives him so much. Like he will stay up like all night just reading, just super basic like, or not basic like he like learned Latin to read other stuff.
Mm.
He's doing all this like crazy stuff just to like further his knowledge, and he like loves school so much, and it you genuinely have to read it. It's probably the best book I've ever read.
Really?
I'm telling you, bro.
Hmm. Wow.
So let's bounce back to actor preparers.
Okay. Well, it's. I mean, it's kind of boring to describe because like nothing really cool happens in it. It just describes. It reminded me a lot of C.S. Lewis's writing. That's the author I've read the most. Because C.S. Lewis often uses like big, like metaphors or analogies that like always just like make sense to me and like scratch my brain. There's one concept that I learned from the book that I didn't really fully understand before was the concept of reproduction, like reproducing a character. And there's a character in the book, his name's Paul, who misunderstands what his acting is, and he basically to prepare for his part as I think it's like Olio in the play they were doing, he like stands in front of him. He's supposed to be like evil and menacing, and so he stands in front of a mirror until he acts evil or menacing, and then he simply copies that. And the director who's instructing them, like his correction for him was that like to truly embrace a character, your full emotion has to be behind it, whether you're reproducing it or coming up with it from scratch. And so like basically the lesson was that the concept of like reproducing a character is not simply copying it from someone else. Like if you see someone that you think is evil or menacing or looks evil or menacing, you're not simply just like looking like them, but you are formulating in your mind everything that this specific character is. So like if I'm trying to play a character who's mean, I'm formulating in my mind everything about them. Like the way they talk, the way Cade's falling asleep, the way they talk, the way they walk, the way they move, their background, their family life, everything. And that is what I'm trying to embody, like with the fullest. And I'm using the emotions that what?
I don't know.
And
No.
I'm using the emotions and the experience that I have to express that character, even if I can't actually claim to have been through the same things that they have been through. And that is kind of
that wait, that kind of leads me to another question that I was like thinking about the other day, or it was like in a song I was listening to. It's like, do you think someone can have like a really good work ethic and like strive to do all these great things if they've never even been through hardships in life, like crazy hardships? Or do you think you need hardships to be able to like be a successful person?
Well, you definitely need hardships.
But I still think, even though, like, I still think there's people that never went through hardships and were able to just summon something within them to just, like, work really hard.
But hardships are what makes people who they are.
I guess, yeah.
Like, without difficulty, like, I don't think there's anything in life. Like, take the gym, for example.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to be in good shape, you want to look the way you want to look, it takes hardships. Like, it takes going to the gym.
No,
like,
I get
the gym
what you mean,
is painful,
but I'm saying even, like, going through, like, something, like, just like being brought up in just a good life, I feel like people will still be able to like summon something from deep within them, even if they haven't gone through like really hard traumatic experiences.
Yeah, but it depends on how you're defining like success.
Yeah. I want to bounce back to my book,
Wait,
but that's
I
interesting.
wasn't done.
Wait, yeah, you're talking about pulling stuff from your own life to
Yeah, and it
replicate a
made me
character.
think about the characters I played before, like
Like you're kind of like exactly like the Sos from
no,
uh
like
whatever.
even though I'm not a
Outsiders.
mean
No, you
bully,
are kind of though.
a
You are
mean
like really rich
bully,
though, and kind of like a
and I don't know what it's like to have my best friend
like a
die,
poser.
but I have experiences in my own life that replicate that emotion, and I can use that to I can use those similar feelings to produce a character that is similar to, or that is the character of Randy in The Outsiders. And that's one of many concepts that I learned in this book, but I guess Cade just hates what I have to say.
No,
Alright.
I don't think I hate what you have to say. I just think it's very boring. No, I'm just kidding. I think what you're saying is very valid.
All
It
right,
makes
your
sense.
turn. Your turn.
I kind of just like what I just described is like the first.
So they can't. Mrs. Smith can't hear a word you're saying.
I know. I'm coming back in a second. I don't
Start
know.
over.
Just the whole book is the entire guy's life. It's William Stoner's whole life, and it's just like knock after knock after knock against him. It's like I see him do all these things, and I'm like, I think about my own life, and I'm like, am I setting myself up for like certain things that he is? Like he marries this woman, and she is just awful. Like it is awful.
Why does he marry her?
'Cause he's so lonely. He really doesn't have any friends. Cause he's like an
I see why you
assistant
like this book
professor.
so much. It's just like you.
I am exactly like William Stoner, bro. But he marries this woman, and she just has awful mental issues. Like she is just like a mess, and it's awful, and it kind of just like sets up the whole rest of his life. It's just like you can tell it's not gonna be like just from this one woman. It kind of just put his whole life in like just disarray, and there's just so much. You really have to read it, bro. Like it's so
the
easy to
point of this video.
I know.
To like show
I know.
that
Miss Smith knows. I was talking to Sam for so long about it. It's so nice to talk to somebody that read the book because they understand like what I'm getting at. But there's just so much stuff. He just is able to always find like no matter what happens to him, his life is awful. There's so much. I mean, it's not awful, but his life is just so mundane, and like the crazy things that do happen to him are just not good. Like he's always able to find a solace in reading, in literature, in wanting to learn more, and through like having an awful home life, eventually he has a kid. His wife is a psycho. Like his wife gives birth, like she is like super adamant on wanting a child. She does a lot of really weird things to get the kid. Like she doesn't ever want to touch him. She doesn't ever want to do anything with him. And then she decides one day that she wants to have a kid, and she just like switches her personality completely. And then once she knows she's pregnant, she just goes back to ignoring her husband.
Jeez. Does he still talk to his parents or no?
His parents, that's what I'm saying. Like he really like the most he ever talks to his parents were 3 sentences. So his parents really don't like. They're supportive of him. They let him go after his teaching degree, or not his teaching degree, his English degree. But like his parents are always supportive of him. They're not always there for him, but they're there for occasionally because they just have such hard lives at the farm. They tend to a farm. It's just the two of them, so it's like they really don't know that much insight, and like they can't really help him out with that much stuff.
That makes sense.
They're just like they tried to help him as much as possible, but they just live such hard lives. It's good to like help him that much, but just no matter what, he's always able to fall back on his books. He's always able to fall back on his teaching, and when his home life gets really hard, he can just like give everything that he like wants to give and like cares about to his students. He's able to like lose himself in these lectures, and he's like a pretty liked teacher, but he's like nothing special still. And I don't know. He just has a daughter. He really like when she's young, he tries to like help her as much as possible, and like
How does it end?
it ends with him dying and looking at the book he wrote before he dies.
Dang.
And his wife, another thing, when his wife at the end, he's like his one friend Gordon Finch that fought in World War I. because he didn't want to go to World War because he didn't even know what it was about. He didn't know anything. He just knew he didn't have a say in it. It's like there was no reason to go for him because like people I think there was a draft. There might not have been a draft, but a lot of people were volunteering to go, and he's like I can't volunteer if like he just knew there was no reason to volunteer because he didn't know like what he would be fighting for. So that was like a big.
I don't even know how they would have done a draft for World War One.
Well, I mean, it was like
There wasn't like TV.
20 years before World War II. They had radios and stuff.
Yeah.
Or the radios
guess.
might have been like the 30s, so I don't know.
But they didn't. Did they have that many like public records?
They had a draft in Civil War.
The Civil War was just like every man from every household goes.
That's what I'm saying. So like it might have
It's
been.
not really a draft.
I know, but a lot of people had to go.
Yeah.
But it was really interesting, and it's like his like main life is during the Great Depression. His wife's always just complaining about. I don't know. It's just like she's not even complaining, but she's just like so mentally ill. Like she'll just like be in the house all alone all day. She'll never want to leave the house.
Dang.
She'll just like be super spacey, not want to talk to him. She'll always just wage like mini wars against him, just
That's
like
how
over
Cade
their
feels.
daughter. Mentally ill?
No. In his relationship.
What?
I'm kidding.
No, I don't think so.
All right. Well, I think that was good.
I don't know. I still have so much to talk about for the book. Mrs. Smith, I swear I analyzed this literature really well. It's just like I could talk about this book
out of it.
all day. This book was honestly probably my favorite book I've ever read.
Maybe I'll read it.
You have to read it, bro.
Should I read it over the summer?
Read it. I read it in like a week. Miss Smith, I didn't procrastinate, but I just like I didn't get the book till late, and I like demolished it. It was such an amazing book.
He eviscerated it, some are saying.
It was really good.
All right. I'm Zach.
I'm Cade.
And thank you for watching Two-Headed Goat, Mrs. Smith.